Welcome back to Heroes and Villains HQ. Today I have my next LEGO buyer's guide. This time for the LEGO Marvel sets that were released June of 2025. So we're going to be covering 3 sets today, taking a look at the details and giving you my opinion as to whether or not they are a buy or a bust. So if you haven't already checked out my first buyer's guide video, I'll link it above. That is for the June 2025 LEGO Star Wars sets. So definitely check that video out. Also, if you're enjoying my Marvel and Star Wars content, be sure to subscribe down below and hit that thumbs up. But with that said, let's jump into the LEGO Marvel June 2025 Buyer's Guide. So the first set I'm going to be taking a look at is set 76316, the Fantastic Four versus Galactus construction figure. The piece count is 427 total pieces at a price of $59.99 and was released this June of 2025. My overall thoughts is, at first glance, it's pretty good. It does include 4 minifigures, all 4 members of the Fantastic Four. So Reed Richards, Sue Storm, Johnny Storm, and Ben Grimm, the Thing. And then the main build, really the only build, and where all of the pieces go towards, is the Galactus construction figure, which looks to be about just the best construction figure LEGO has released thus far. In the Marvel line, we've seen Iron Man and Spider-Man, as well as a few other characters. We've also seen this line previously in Star Wars, and normally they just look okay. Usually there's one dimension of the figure that they get wrong, whether that's the chest or the head or maybe the accessories. Something always looks a little funky. And I think taking a look at this Galactus figure, it looks really good. The face does look slightly odd because it is just a flat piece with either a sticker or a print. I can't tell from the photos. However, I'll make sure to note it on screen. So yeah, the Galactus figure, it looks pretty good. I think the colors look awesome. That like pinkish purple and the navy blue. I mean, it really captures the comic accurate look of Galactus. I also love that the Fantastic Four, which comes out in July, is going to show a comic accurate Galactus. Really excited for that movie. I'm sure as you all are as well. I will say though, where the set falls a little flat is with the minifigures. Now, I think at face value, getting them in their main Fantastic Four suits is really awesome. I think the face prints look good. I think the hair choices are pretty good. However, the problem I have with them is in their fantastic abilities, right? Reed Richards can stretch. Sue Storm can go invisible. Johnny Storm is obviously the Human Torch. And then Ben Grimm is the Thing. He's a large rock man. So I think when you take a look at each of these fantastic abilities, I'm going to go through them one by one, right? Reed Richards here. I think this is bad. I mean, they extend the legs by adding what looks to be a 1x4 brick and then the slope piece as the feet. I think they easily could have used the 3 tall legs for this figure to give it the stretch look. Also, the problem I have is with the arms, right? I don't know the back end of how LEGO manufactures sets, but the new LEGO One Piece set, not something I follow. However, it does include a character that has these long, stretchy arms. And looking at this piece right here, that would have been perfect for the Reed Richards figure in this set. So I think they definitely dropped the ball with Reed. Sue Storm, this one's tough, right? She can go invisible. I don't really think there's much else they could have done with the Sue Storm figure other than give her those pieces for her hands. I will say they could have potentially used the half translucent leg piece that we saw with the Vision minifigure in the Avengers Tower. Again, not sure how the manufacturing works for that piece. I know LEGO has some issues making transparent minifigures. So it could have been an issue with the blue that they used and adding clear transparent part, dual molding to the legs. I would have liked to see that though. I think that would have looked cool. So again, just seems like just kind of a half attempt. The one that's really bad. Actually, both of these are really bad. The Johnny Storm and the Thing, really, really bad. Johnny Storm, top to bottom, turns into flames. I think the hand pieces and the flames at the bottom of the feet look fine. I think it just would have been better if he was the Human Torch and they went with an orange and red minifigure instead of just the blue suit. I get that they wanted to give some consistency there and giving you the blue Fantastic Four suits, but I think it would have looked cooler with him as the Human Torch fighting off Galactus. And then the Thing is just too small, right? The Thing is bigger than these characters, and while I think the headpiece that they use looks really good, I think the hands look really awkward, and he isn't obviously beefy enough. I think this would have been a great opportunity to give a medium-sized mold for the Thing that they could have used in the future. You know, we've seen it with Hagrid before, and I think that mold could be used for plenty of characters across a lot of different lines in the future. You know, some examples are could use them for Dexter in Lego Star Wars potentially. There's other characters that are kind of in between what is a big fig for Thanos and Hulk, but are bigger than the regular size minifigures. So I think overall the figures aren't bad, but they drop the ball in all four in some capacity. So overall though, is this a buy or a bust? I'm gonna go with a buy. I still think that Galactus looks really, really cool. I think this movie's going to be killer. And, even with the flaws of the minifigures, it's still the Fantastic Four. And it's really awesome to see them in Lego form. And you got to support things that you want to see more of. And I want to see more Fantastic Four in the future. So I think this is a buy. If you can get it less than $60, massive buy. But I think for $60, I still think you're spending your money well here. The same cannot be said for the other two sets on this list. The next one we're going to take a look at is set 76323, Avengers Endgame Final Battle. This set is 621 pieces for $100. Again, released this June. It does include 9 minifigures and 1 Thanos Big Fig. However, this set sucks to the fullest level of suck. This is so bad and such a cash grab from Lego to just once again capitalize on Endgame. Let's start with just the build. Where do these 621 pieces go, right? You're getting a mech for the Ant-Man figure to make him bigger. Awful, right? The mechs are $15, so $15 of your $100 price tag here goes to an Ant-Man mech, right? Which is not something we see in Endgame. The other, presumably around 400 pieces, goes to what is just a simple landscape build. Looks to be about a brick to 2 bricks tall in some areas, and then you get the portals in the background. Other than that, there's absolutely no substance to this set. I don't think it's a great display model. It's an awful play model. It's really not doing anything for you. It's not doing anything for kids in terms of play. It's not doing anything for collectors in terms of display. So it's 0 for 2. So what's the redeeming factor, right? You get only 600 pieces for $100. The redeeming factor, it must include fantastic minifigures. And at first glance, right, you're getting Iron Man, Captain America, Black Panther, Scarlet Witch, the Iron Spider, Ant-Man, Doctor Strange, Falcon, Thanos, and a Chitauri. So face value again, great lineup of minifigures. But then when you actually look at the figures included, this is when it falls apart, okay? Because let's take a look at a few here. The Doctor Strange, that Doctor Strange print is from Doctor Strange in the Multiverse of Madness, which happens after Endgame. Completely inaccurate and reused print. The Captain America, that's the suit we see him use in Avengers Age of Ultron. Again, completely inaccurate print, especially when they gave a brand in August, this coming August, a 4+ set is going to include a brand new Captain America that we've not seen before. Okay. So 2 wildly inaccurate prints. The other figures, the Black Panther is the Civil War suit, right? That's reused from the Civil War set we saw in January. The Scarlet Witch and the Ant-Man and the Falcon, all reused figures, no new prints there. The Iron Man is a reused Mark 85 suit. The Thanos is reused, and the Chitauri is a reused Chitauri. The only figure that's providing something new in this set is the Iron Spider with the dual molded legs. Awesome figure. But what you're doing is you're spending $100 on a platform and an updated Iron Spider figure. Awful. Absolutely atrocious. Please do not buy this. This is a bust to the fullest extent. Pass. Major pass. The last set on this list is set 76327, the Iron Man Mark IV bust, with 436 pieces and a price tag of $60, also released this June. Now, this is a new line for Marvel. They are releasing the Iron Man Mark IV bust this June, and they're releasing the Iron Spider bust in August. And as you can see from these photos, the bust line is giving you a chest up look at the character. I think when you're taking a look at this right off the rip, what is going on with the helmet? I mean, it looks out of proportion to the chest and shoulders. I don't know. I genuinely I look at this every time and I just wonder how on earth did the designers sign off on this as the final product. I think the chest and the shoulders and the arc reactor and even the neck look great. I think I like the bust line as a new introduction. I think those factors of it look pretty good. But when you take a look at the head, which is really the most important part for Iron Man, what? They just cannot seem to get the Iron Man helmet down. We saw the original helmet released a long time ago. That helmet was really bad. This is also really bad. A couple of highlights. I do like how they off-centered the stand, right? So it's a rectangular stand. However, they tilted it a little bit, so you're getting some angles. The printed piece showing the Marvel logo and the Iron Man Mark IV text looks pretty good. And we do get a brand new Iron Man Mark IV minifigure. We haven't seen the Mark IV at all in Lego Marvel. So those are all positives. But for $60, this thing is tiny. The head does not look good. I don't think you're getting enough value here. This is a bust. So what are my overall thoughts on the June release of Lego Marvel? I think it's a lackluster wave, to say the least. The one set I consider, a buy, the Fantastic Four versus Galactus, is not without its flaws. And the other two, I think, are just passes. They're overpriced. They don't provide enough value. And the Endgame set, just terrible. Absolutely terrible. So I think overall, this wave is not something to look forward to. That being said, the August wave, which I will be releasing a buyer's guide in the coming weeks for the Lego Marvel August wave, that is something to look forward to. There are a lot of good sets and a lot of great new minifigures coming out this August, so stay tuned for that. So I hope you enjoyed this video. This is my first Lego Marvel video, so there are going to be more to come in the future. So stay tuned and subscribe by hitting the button down below to support the channel. I'd really appreciate it. And like I said, I hope you enjoyed watching, and I will catch you in the next one. Thanks.